Hello and welcome, ProITians. So I hope you guys are going along nicely and you're able to follow the sessions what have been covered till now, right? In the last session, we covered about if, elif, else statements, right? And those are all part of your control flow statements, right? Now we are going to look on some other things today. We are going to start working on for loops. So we'll see how the for loop work, and we'll see some of the examples on for loop. I give you a homework on for loop so that you can try it out on your at your end. In case if you're facing any issues, please revert back or comment back to me, and I'll revert back with the answers on that. All right. Okay. I'll see you in the class then. Thank you. Hello and welcome back, ProITians. So let's look at for loop, right? All right. So what I've done is I've actually prepared the flow chart about the for loop, right? So here's it actually. So for each item in the sequence, it comes here and actually checks whether that limit is reached or not, and then it actually takes a decision accordingly. All right. So what happens in for loops? So for loops are used to iterate over a sequence. Okay. So for loops can compromise of list, tuple, strings, and other iterable objects, right? For loop continues until the last item in the sequence is reached. Okay, so I mean we will discuss further out here once we actually again touch base on the flowchart. Right? The body of for loop is separated from the rest of the code using indentation, and this is something which we have already seen when we have seen the other examples of control flow, right? About if statement, elif statement, else statement. So we saw that the body of those if statement was separated from the other part of the code by help of indentation, right? Now syntax for loop is like for I in sequence and then body of it, and if that is done, then it will exit. Okay, now let's look at this. Okay, so there will be always a sequence given, and there will be like a range. Okay, so you'll have to execute this loop till that range is there, right? So when the range is when that limit is reached, okay, it will check if that range is reached or not. If it is not reached, it will execute the command and it will go back to the for loop, right? To the decision of the for loop, right? As soon as the decision is reached and it is like yes, it will exit out of that loop and it will go to the next part of the code or execution of the code, right? So once this part is done, it will go to the next part for the execution of the code. Okay, great. Now let's look at some examples. Okay, I've prepared some examples here. I've actually done this so that we don't spend more time on typing. We spend quality time on discussing on the code and understand if it is going to achieve our output, right? A required output. Okay, so this is a small program that we have that I've actually prepared for, which it demonstrates for loop, right? So what it does, it actually prints all the odd numbers and even numbers in the given range, and even numbers in the given range. Okay, so as we have seen in the earlier session, this part is called as doc string. DOC. I'll type it out here just for the example. Doc string. This is called as a doc string. Okay, because it has a small summary of the code that the code will be performing. Okay, great. Now as usual, it is going to print program to print odd and even numbers in a range, so that will give the sort of a banner to a person who is going to execute this program, correct? Okay, and then it is going to ask for the starting number to the user. So user will be prompted to give a starting number, and it will be in the integer format. So it's going to prompt for the lower range, right? And then it is going to ask for the end number, and it will say, user, please give me the higher range. Okay, and then it's going to go with the loops, right? So it is going to, like we have seen in the earlier session, this is also an example of a nested loop, right? So we have if, and then the other components of else, and then again we have if and all. So this is also an example of a nested if statement, right? But here this is also an example for statement. Okay, great. So if starting number is greater than end number, yeah, so the starting number range is greater than ending number range, and starting number is greater than equal to 0, and end number is greater than equal to 0, right? So this and this and this, all this is true, right? Then it will go to the next line. If not, if any of those things are false, then it will come, it will exit from this loop and come to else statement, and it will print not a valid range. Okay, right? So it is checking the starting number is greater less than the end number, and starting number is greater than equal to 0 to check if the user has put a positive number, and end number is greater than equals to 0 to check if the user has keyed in the positive number. Okay, now z equals to range start number end number plus 1. Okay, why plus 1 here? Yeah, because we want to include the number, the ending number, which is provided by the user. So for that, what we are doing is, whatever the number user is providing at the end, we are going to add that 1 to it. So that ending number is also included in our execution of the code, right? Okay, so print f. F is for form feed, and it is for formatting the statement. So print all odd numbers between start num and end num. Okay, for I is equals to z colon, right? So z colon is this one. Yeah, z. I is your variable which is actually using the values in the statement or in the identifier here, right? So if I is divisible by the remainder of when the I will be divided by 2, and if the remainder is less than is equals to 1 equal 1, that means it is going to be an odd number, right? So for example, if 5 you divide by 2, what will be the remainder? It's going to be 1, right? So that means that yes, 5 is an odd number. Okay, so it will print that is an odd number, right? Okay, else if that is not the case, then we can say print as an even number. Okay, and that's all. I mean, yeah, that's all this program will achieve. Okay, now let's have a look. Okay, so let's have a look on the execution of this code, right? So you remember, guys, right? How do we execute this code? By clicking on run and run module, or by clicking on F5. So I'll do F5, and it asks me if I'm fine in saving the code. I say okay, and as soon as I do it, I get a prompt to enter my starting number, right? So I'll key in a value as 2, and I hit enter, and then it asks me for ending number. Okay, so I key in the value as 11, and let's see. So what it has done is all odd numbers between 2 and 11, so 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11, right? So remember, guys, I mean, we had added plus 1 out here, right? Why was that? So that we get an output of even the 11 is considered in the output, right? Okay, so okay, there was a typo here. It should be even number. So for example, I should have made the change out here. It should have been even numbers, right? But anyways, I mean, that doesn't matter. I mean, it's just a typo and that can be corrected, or if you want, I'll go ahead and re-execute this command. Click on OK, and let's see, 2, 11, 2 and 11, right? Now we get all even numbers, and yes, 2 is an even number, 4 is. So yeah, if you want, we can execute the same command with the different set of numbers by clicking on F5, and I gave the lower number as 4 and the higher number as 9, and let's see, right? So 5 is the odd number, and 4 is the even. 4, 6, 8 and 5, 7, 9 are the odd numbers, right? All right, I think we have covered quite in. Okay, so we have covered quite a bit on the session, and I hope you guys have gone through the session quite well. So in case if you still have any queries, you can put your feedback in the comment section, and then I'll revert back to you in some time. Okay, right. So let's see you in the class in the next session. Okay, great. Until then, have a nice time and keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.